strikingly beautiful women and daring riders. That's the image the Circassians present of themselves at their folk celebrations. At a folklore evening in a village in the Caucasus in Russia, Master of Ceremonies Aslan Gvashev is battling against forgetfulness. He says most Russians no longer know about how the Tsars conquered his forebears. The Olympics could have been an opportunity to take an honest look at the past.
These Olympic Games are being held in a place that is very significant and tragic for our people. And to have these games in Sochi without speaking about these things is just not right.
Only about 700,000 Circassians still live in Russia today. The Russian army brutally subjugated Circassia when the Tsars expanded their empire into the Caucasus. Not far from where the Winter Games will be held, thousands of Circassians died in their last stand against the Russian army. Most of those who survived were driven away, across the Black Sea into Turkey. Murat Burshev, a Circassian who lives in Sochi today, has called on Russia to acknowledge that the conquest was genocide. That's why the authorities have summoned him several times for preventive talks, as they have many who think like that.
We
want respect, also for these places. There are countless graves here. We wish that more archaeologists had been engaged before they built the Olympic structures. And now it's too late.
About 1,000 Circassians live in the mountain village of Bolshoi Kichme near Sochi. The village school teaches them the language and culture of the Adigeir. Adigeir is what the Circassians call themselves in their native tongue. Today, it is spoken only at home in the family. In Russia, Adigeir or Circassian is tolerated but not fostered.
Our Adygeian village is surrounded by Russians, Armenians, and people of many other nationalities. Russian is the only language we have in common.
But we aren't going to abandon our traditions and our language.
To prevent the traditions from being lost, children start coming to a weekly cultural group when they are in the first grade. The youngsters hear tales of heroism, freedom, and limitless hospitality. Their parents want them to be proud of their heritage. The Circassians are considered one of the oldest nationalities in Europe. They were already living in the Caucasus in classical antiquity. When Russia annexed Circassia, the people were scattered throughout the world. Official Russian history books have no place for their tragedy. Although the Circassians still here learned long ago to consider themselves part of Russia, all the peoples of the Caucasus are still stereotyped as being unyielding and dangerous.
The Circassians were almost wiped out in the 19th century, and today they're in danger of being wiped out of European consciousness. And I think that's almost worse. So something has to be done against this. Something has to be done to commemorate them and to preserve their culture and their language. And that's very difficult, considering how fragmented their diaspora is today.
The villagers of Bolshoi Kichme have other worries. They need better streets and a new athletic field. The Council of Elders tell Yuri Napso, a delegate to the Duma in Moscow. Napso is a Circassian who regards the scheduled Olympic Games as a good signal.
So many new roads, train stations and airports have been built. Sochi was always a beautiful city, but now it's blossoming anew. And even if some Circassian mountain villages are a bit remote from it, all the children who grow up in this region will benefit from the Games.
Aslan Gvashev, too, had high hopes that the Olympics would be advantageous for the Circassians. But now he's afraid that Circassian traditions will be nothing but a folkloristic backdrop for the Olympic program.
The Olympic Games are being held in a place that had a very negative aura in the 19th century. But that was 150 years ago. These games could have been used to put old ghosts to rest and to send a signal of peace and reconciliation.
Like Aslam Gvashev, many Circassians are disappointed. They don't demand compensation or threaten violence, like some other nationalities in the Caucasus. But they want an end to the silence about the killings and expulsions. The Circassians are proud of their history.